generosity, I'm here to show all that I can give. Generosity, I'm here to set the bar. Just sit back and watch how I live. Wow, I really enjoyed this week's episode. A return to Manehattan with Rarity and Applejack, burn in simple ways and look before you sleep. I wonder if anybody else enjoyed this episode like I did, through my personal connection to it.
Oh, Manehattan, what you do to me?
Well, this is new. Oh, hi there. You must be Doodle Dabble, right? I love your content.
Oh, hello, and you must be, Rosie Seaver. Sorry, still a little bit new around here. Just getting everyone straight in this community.
It's okay, Doodle. I'm also new to this. Doing more and more collabs with you guys in the Rift. Hey, have you seen the latest episode made in Manehattan?
Is the insert obvious statement here. Super well written, relatable, had a moral I didn't even see coming but made perfect sense, plus the continuity that brings the choruses of praise from the analysis community. What more could you ask for?
I enjoyed it also, Doodle. Do you want to review it with me? I bet we can bounce off loads of ideas together.
We're both new to this, but if the episode taught me anything, we can still make a contribution and discussion to the community. Hold on to your glasses.
Well, like the 11th Doctor always said, Geronimo!
Alonze?
Sweet! I think I'm going to feel right at home in this. It reminds me of my art college days as well as my sketchbooks from my university days, doing digital media.
Well, I hope you feel right at home. It is your sketchbook. But I'm glad to see another artistic pony. Artsy people make the transition to sketch form much more smoothly. Poor Toon Critic got smashed between a couple of pages. I love schools and universities, so I often hang out in sketchbooks and notebooks and binders of the sort. Especially when class is just dragging on.
Well, let's get started, shall we?
Sure. This episode begins with Twilight in her library, utterly bored to tears from a lack of books to read. Applejack and Rarity, however, are called upon to spread the gospel of friendship to Manehattan.
This continues the fantastic story arc with the cutie map, for visiting our town and defeating Starlight Glimmer in the season opener, and Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie visiting the Griffin Kingdom, and gained a friend in newly reformed Gilda back in the Lost Treasure of Griffinstone. When I heard that Applejack and Rarity were going back to Manehattan, I noticed a pattern from it. Rainbow and Pinkie were chosen because of their experience with Griffins, especially Gilda, and Applejack and Rarity were chosen in this episode because of their own experiences with Manehattan, as we're seeing Applejack's flashback in the Cutie Mark Chronicles and Rarity's test of generosity back in Rarity Takes Manehattan. So I have a theory that Twilight and Fluttershy are the lost pairs to go on their own friendship mission. Do you have any ideas of what their friendship mission might be, Doodle?
I'm just hoping that Twilight doesn't have to go alone, or even worse, just not go at all. In both the episodes concerning the map, her friends say that Twilight could have fixed the immediate problem, but wouldn't have been able to solve the friendship problem. And if the Princess of Friendship is said to be the bad one for fixing a friendship problem, we got a problem here. Well, she wanted to succeed Celestia, so I guess being depowered so that her subjects could solve the problem is just part of the deal.
So Rarity and Applejack arrive in Manehattan, starting with a callback to the song Generosity from last season, or what we referenced. We get some fun interactions between the two, as they try to find out what the friendship problem is, including a hilarious Charlie Brown reference.
And a flying flyer swoops in to give them their first clue. It's Coco Pamel trying to revitalize the community through the community theater that brought it together previously. However, she needs help, and lots of it.
I enjoyed Coco's return to the show, and she had more character development in her first appearance back in Rarity Takes Manehattan, as she was the first keeper of the Tree of Harmony chest after Rarity demonstrated her generosity. She has come a long way since she last met her in the main 6, and she is enjoying her own job as bridal-way dressmaker thanks to Rarity. And she was the one of the ponies who made the contribution to the theatre revival when she was a filly, when she explains her backstory. And since that day, she wants to bring it back, and she is so committed to it. By the way, she is so adorable as a filly, and it gave us the answer to the flower she wears in the mane came from. Hey, I can draw a flower like hers for each of us. What do you think of Coco in this episode, Doodle?
She was adorable, and I really like how she's still sort of innocent in the industry-like fashion. She maintains the feel of childlike innocence with wanting to bring back the good childhood community memories. Her efforts are lifelike, put out some flyers and trust that people will help. And unfortunately, that's what wasn't working, kind of like in real life, for example. So the now main 2 rebuilt the show that brought everyone together.
Here you go, a photo clip for each of us. Hope you like it. Anyway, Rarity decides to help Coco with the costumes and Applejack building the stage. When they arrive at the park, they realize this was going to be more harder than they thought. When Applejack's hat went through the hard work that she put in, I was laughing so hard and yet felt so sorry for her. I bet there was going to be lots of memes and comics about this.
And Applejack's hat replaced Spike as the butt of all jokes in this one. At least it got its redemption, of sorts, in the end. In the meantime, the every pony's distraught over how the park looks like a dump even after a whole day's work of Applejack's work, which is worth a community in of itself.
And we get to meet Coco's neighbors, a theater troupe called the Method Mouse, who show up for the rehearsal and costume fittings. I thought they were really interesting. The way they performed the play, which was a retelling of how the theater revival was created, was really well done. The way they played the characters of the story reminded me of the film Godspell, one of my all-time favorite musicals. For those of you that don't know, Godspell is a musical film in 1973 with Victor Garber, which is about a group of actors playing Jesus and his followers, acting out the stories of the Gospel of Matthew throughout the modern-day New York City. I had a taste of musical tributes when the Method Mouse came to play, and they played a great supporting role in this episode.
That one's so much fun to put on, too. I helped direct a group of kids in a mini version of it on a volunteer trip to Japan. We didn't know much Japanese, but we knew enough to tell the kids to lift your hands here and step there if they didn't know any English, and thankfully the rest of them knew enough for us to work with them. The Method Mayors, though, weren't as impressed with the venue as they are with the production. They could probably sue the city over how bad that stage was. It fell apart as soon as someone stepped on it. Even Applejack's hat wouldn't have survived.
At least they are not giving up on Coco, Applejack, and Rarity, knowing they will succeed. When they are about to give up hope, this is where Applejack gives the most simplest and effective line I have ever heard from her. Stop worrying about what we can't do, and start doing what we can. This is my favorite quote from Applejack so far in this series. And so Applejack builds a simple stage just in time for the show by the Method Mouse, and Coco's reaction to her work is so adorable. That's why she's one of my favorite characters.
This is a quote I have to say to myself often. I often find myself freaking out about planning to make everything and worrying about it just gets you nowhere. With this thought in mind, the crew works with what little they can do to make their intentions a reality.
As the play goes on, many passers-by come to sit and watch the play, and some of them even remember their old memories of the theatre revival. And as the play finishes and it is a complete success, and as a result, the neighborhood's togetherness and community is restored, and Coco has her shining moments of putting it together with the help of Rarity and Applejack, which makes a great build-up to the moral of this episode, and definitely one of my favorites, which explains why the map sent Applejack with Rarity in the first place. By doing something small and simple, which is building the stage and making sure the play went on, that effect makes a difference.
This whole place is a liability. Well, I guess you can't really sue anyone in a kids show, can ya? The show brought people together and helped them realize that they can make a difference with the little things they do. You don't have to do something huge in order to make a difference in your community. And further, I'd like to add that even talents that don't seem directly pertaining to the job which needs to be done can be very helpful as well.
What I got out of this episode is that I have a strong personal connection to it. Through the years, I have been involved in many things. Being in a youth council, a volunteer youth worker, a member of my old high school dance club back in my old hometown, and presently, a volunteer worker at 2 museums and a group of people with Asperger's, working on projects as well as running sessions where I live now. I give an amazing contribution in all of these to make them a success and creating a great impact on the communities and groups themselves.
But that's so awesome! But I relate a little bit more to the city folk. I have full units at school and an internship, so trying to find time to give to my community is an art form in itself. I integrate it, therefore, into what I do. My internship is with an organization called Crochet Kids, who teach women in Uganda and Peru how to sew, knit, and crochet, and then they make the products there, we sell them here. And through it, the women receive an education, fair wages, and mentorship, and empowers them to lift themselves out of poverty. And it's a more sustainable sort of lifting out of poverty than just going out and giving them a handout. Then, on Saturday mornings, a church down the road from my school has a homeless ministry. People make them breakfast and provide essential services, and I play them the uke. I never really thought about ukulele helping these guys get themselves off the streets, but it gives them joy and peace and something they look forward to every week. My pastor's wife is very involved in helping the homeless, and she encourages us who are very busy to make little bags of hotel soaps and Tide Pods and such in order to give them to people on the street when we see them. There are little things that you can do, or you can integrate your service into what you already do.
Overall, this was a fantastic episode and the best Applejack and Rarity episode overall for me, with Look Before You Sleep in second and Simple Ways in third. The story was fantastic, the characters Rarity, Applejack, Coco and the Method Mouse were awesome, and the moral was really well done. Although the pacing was slow in the first 6 minutes, it eventually picked up as the story went on, and the way it was presented gave a special personal connection to people who contribute to their communities just like us. I give this episode 9 out of 10 stars, another favorite episode from this season, and another one from my top episodes in the entire series. Your final thoughts, Doodle?
Good animation, great story, a moral that was concurrently discovered with the audience, and extra points for relatability. All around a great episode. I didn't really care too much for the play since there wasn't really a struggle in it. It was like, oh dear, I have a problem, I can fix it, yay, kind of stuff. But if it's a story within a story, we don't want it to be too distracting, so we can let it slide. That's my only real meh with the episode anyway, since there are far too many good things about it to make me dwell on the few mehs. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5 for appreciation and a 4 out of 5 for enjoyment.
So what about you guys out there? What was your favorite moments of this episode? How did you like Coco's return to the show? And do you have any experience of being involved in community projects? Let us know in the comments below on your thoughts on Made in Manehattan.
And don't forget to like, go over and subscribe to Rosie, and become a subscribbler for my channel. Check out our other vids, and catch up with us on social media in the meantime. Well, I guess I better send you back to your channel.
Yeah, it was awesome working with you, Doodle. I hope we get to collab together again soon. Well, that was fun. Yay! I got the Sonic sunglasses like Doctor Who in the new series! So awesome!
Anytime, Rosie.